Okay. Yeah. Let me know when everyone's ready.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to open the November 16th, 2023 New Paltz Town Board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Announcements, all town offices will be closed on Thursday, November 23rd and Friday, November 24th in observance of Thanksgiving. All town offices will be closed to the public on Friday, December 8th for Records Management Day. And the fourth holiday hoopla parade and winter carnival is Saturday, December 9th on Huguenot Street. The parade kicks off from New Paltz Middle School at noon, and the carnival takes place at historic Huguenot Street starting at 1 p.m. You can check the town's website for more information. And I'd like to open it up for any public input. If anyone has any comments, please raise your hand. Can you do the Zoom hand? Anyone? I see you, Kitty, but go ahead, Kitty, and then Tom.
Sorry. So is this public comment on the public hearing of the budget?
Doesn't matter, either or. Public comment.
Okay. Well, this is for the budget, the public hearing on the budget. I'm glad to see that this budget helps get the rescue squad closer to the funding that it needs. The great news is that the rescue squad will be signing a contract to provide services to the town of Lloyd. This is sure to help lower their costs and our fiscal contribution for next year. Please hold off on voting for the budget until the rescue squad can update their anticipated revenue for next year. When the town accepted a federal grant of $125,000 per year for 5 years for a drug prevention program, the contract specified town office space with the expectation that the director would hold regular office hours. Are these conditions being met? If not, has the mission changed? On October 19th, I wrote to all of you requesting an activity and data report from the Office of Community Wellness. Only Jean replied. Activities and data are frequently shared with the supervisor. In 2016, Phoenix addressed the need for annual data collection on drug use. Quote, "There has been much data collected, and it is my job to go through that data, analyze it, confirm it, and keep updating it. Data is useless in this field unless it's updated at least annually." What does the data show? Are we making progress? Is that still the mission of this office? I also asked you for a description of the new position you have created of Community Relations Specialist with a salary of $52,000. The reply, again from Jean, was the Community Relations Specialist will assist the Community Education Coordinator. Adding new positions to a budget that is already 9.4% higher than last year doesn't make sense to me. There is no job description and no rationale for creating this position. Please delete it from the budget. A good alternative place to put that money would be in the highway department paving budget. That is literally where the rubber meets the road. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Tom?
Good evening, everyone. I guess you haven't heard me on this subject a little for a while and I want to ask a couple of questions on the topic of making the annual budget process more transparent and accessible to new Paltzers. First, many items in your online agenda, typically, I'm talking about your typical agendas, are associated with links to related documents. It's a routine matter. Why can't that be done with budget documents when you have a budget discussion or a public public hearing scheduled? It's true that several of these documents are already posted elsewhere on the town website, but that is why we have hyperlinks to make it easy for people to access documents that they're interested in. Secondly, shouldn't the public hearing on the budget take place after you have had your discussion among yourselves and signed off on any revisions to the tentative budget? That way, the public could be confident that they are reviewing and commenting on the most recent proposed budget. This year, you held your budget discussion and voted to make significant changes on November 2nd, the same day as the public hearing. Can this be the sequence that the calendar that you publish, which I understand is controller specified, can that be the sequence that's intended in that document? I don't think so. Finally, I'm sorry, speaking of the budget calendar, can't the page of legal requirements that posted now be replaced with a plain language document? It's really a mysterious document to read. And can you issue it with one of your blast emails at the beginning of the process to make people aware that this is now budget season? Finally, could there be frequently asked questions to answer such other questions as, why are there 3 budget versions? How can I, as a citizen, ask questions before the public hearing with some hope of getting an answer? Will there be some sort of document or presentation explaining what this year's budget context is and how the town is responding to challenges? That's the kind of thing that needs to be available for new Paltzers in order to feel like they can reasonably participate in the budget. It can't all be just from reporting at HV1. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
No other comments?
This one came in by email.
No, we don't read emails, so. Like to make a motion to, I guess that's the end of public comment. Like to make a motion to approve items 1A through 1E on the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And number 2
I
is,
just want to take a moment to thank Adele Ruger for continuing her tenure on the planning board. It's a wonderful thing that she's willing
Do another 5 years.
to do another 5 years.
Yeah, good
She's
point.
terrific,
Yeah.
and thank you for your
Yes,
dedication.
thank
Adele.
you.
well, this is the Board of Assessment Review.
Mhm.
So it's the same, it's similar, but it's, so she's on 2 boards, which is even like,
Even more,
There you go.
even more like
Thank you.
appreciative.
Yeah,
thank you for
Thank you for
clarifying.
volunteering on
Yeah.
more than one board even.
yeah,
So
very involved. Yeah,
nice to get yelled at for many different reasons on different days.
but
So,
good for her. That's
Yeah.
real dedication. Yeah,
and so, yes,
Yeah.
so thank you, Julie, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
You're right. So number 2 is, at the request of the town's insurance
Mhm.
agency, they're asking that we make sure we have signs and, do inspections at the playgrounds.
The signs would be what?
Mhm.
Those are just suggestions. There's signs saying like, like there's some suggested signs, but we haven't picked the signs, but if people want to, we can
Mhm.
look at different signs, but mostly saying, playground closed after dark, you know, things like that, you
Right.
know, some general rules, things
Mhm.
like that. I mean, some of these don't fit with our playgrounds, because
Right.
one of them says, you know, you have to wear shoes, like we're Memorial Playground, everyone doesn't wear shoes.
Right,
'cause-
right.
So these don't necessarily fit, but just
Yeah,
the idea that we have some signs directing people on,
Mhm.
to the right behavior.
yeah.
So that's,
Permanent signs.
yes.
Yeah. No,
And it's not, because I know there are signs, maybe not the same, with the same content though, at saying the rules at, for example, Field of Dreams. So they're saying in addition to whatever's at Field of Dreams. I know Chuck.
Well, so we just put a new
everywhere.
playground up at the field.
Yeah.
Dreams, right? I don't know if there are signs at that one yet. But we don't necessarily have signs, say, at the Morello playground.
Right.
You know,
Right, so
just-
they want signs at all of the parks.
I think the playground,
Sorry.
three
Three.
playgrounds.
Three,
Yeah, so playground here,
yeah,
Moriello,
right.
Field of
Field of
Dreams.
Dreams.
Yeah.
So
And
not
To
have-
reduce your
have-
liability.
yes,
Yeah,
And reduce our
Right,
Right,
costs.
just for safety and for information,
yeah.
Well, that too.
yeah.
Who
right.
does the inspections?
that will be, we can get to that, we're the Parks and Rec person will be doing the inspections, that'll be part of their job.
Mhm.
And, you know, and hopefully we'll get someone who is certified as a, you know, playground inspector and things like that. So,
Yeah, that would be good. It protects the town, also
Yeah.
protects the families and.
and, you know, we're not saying like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be done daily, but, you know,
Mhm.
on a somewhat regular
Right.
basis. You know, so
Hmm.
that's just
Mhm.
based on the suggestions of the insurance agents. They
Mhm.
came, they come every year. During COVID, it kind of slowed down, but they kind of review all the town policies. You know, they met with Chris, they meet with different department heads, and they kind of go through how can you do things that minimize risks for the town.
Yeah.
And so this was one of their suggestions.
No, I
I'm for
second,
it,
yeah, I second that.
Yes.
All in favor?
I,
So number 3 is there were some, I don't want to say mistakes, but we're changing, updating the town's share of deductible, right? The MVP family plan, right? CDPHP for 2024.
CDPHP initial prices that they gave me were incorrect. The MVP family plan price was a transposition error. And the deductible, I copied the wrong thing. So yeah, they're all mistakes.
So we're updating,
Mhm.
we approved these ones, but these are the right.
Those are
ones.
the real ones for 2024.
So we're changing the costs.
Mhm. Some of
For-
them look like they stay the same, like the family plan stays the same.
We're updating the cost
Yeah.
based on new information from MVP and the correct numbers for the CDPHP.
Yes.
So,
They're very similar.
yes,
Yeah.
but these are the right ones.
Yeah, okay.
Right, that's good. I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Um, So number 4 is a motion to authorize the approval of finance offering ACH withdrawals for payments on utility accounts. I don't know if we're giving people different ways to pay, basically, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, they can register with us and we'll take it right out of their bank account.
And that way they don't
you
have
wanna
to pay.
register right now with me?
And
Yes.
this way, if people, they don't want to pay with a credit card, because then they don't have to pay the credit card fee. So this is a way that it saves people money.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a big change.
Yeah, I'm always up for a lot of the direct deposits versus
Yes.
having that because you save a good bit of money.
yeah, and giving people more ways
Yeah,
to pay.
right,
Yes.
especially with the rising cost of everything, I think, you know. it's-
Well, people do it through their bank now, but by the time their bank mails it, sometimes it's after the due date and they get late fees, and
Yeah.
that's hard.
That is hard. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 5 is, this is, Marshall Sterling is the insurance company, so we did not print this out, but people have the electronic version. It's, they kind of went through and they look at all of the different town properties and buildings and equipment, and this is their insurance quote,
Renewal, the
renewal
renewal
quote
for
for
November
this
30th.
year.
Mhm.
For a year.
Yeah,
Mhm. And what is the difference between that and the one from last year? Are they comparable?
yes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this is like the New York Municipal Insurance, so it's not
Right.
like totally private, they're the brokers for it, but it's an insurance plan that the municipalities are all like you know, or not really owners, but everyone buys in.
Right.
And it's cheaper and it saves towns money. And this, I think it's run by the Association of Towns,
Mhm.
so. And we all, did everyone, all in favor?
Aye.
We vote for that, okay.
Mhm.
November motion to approve the November warrant for $967,572.71.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And so, I know Katie suggested we don't vote on the budget, but under law, we have to vote on the budget
Mhm.
tonight.
Mhm.
So we don't really have a choice.
Mhm.
If we don't vote on the budget, then what we have already voted on just goes into place. Right, so
Right.
by law, this is the day we have to vote on the budget, so. I know we all enjoy it so much, we'd love to just keep talking about it for the rest of our lives, but we're there now. I sent a spreadsheet around
Yeah.
to everyone.
That's-
There's I don't know if people want to have a discussion about it, we want to ask Gina any questions there. You know, one of the suggestions was that we don't bring a person into the community wellness program and we use that money instead for paving.
Mhm.
I think Gene talked to Chris. You're okay if we leave the paving budget the way it is and we don't take the money out of community wellness and transfer it into paving? Is that?
We're going in the right direction with it.
Okay.
So yes, we're there. We could always use more, but we're trying to go in the right direction.
Well, I do have to say, I've been working closely with Phoenix.
Mhm.
And it's the first time I've done that, and I am sort of shocked at the numbers of non-wellness that there is in our community. You know, you think New Paltz, you think this cute little town and everybody's sort of, you know, sort of okay. I mean, you know that there are individual families and individual problems, but it's much greater than that.
Yes.
And I think that the work that he's doing is just, and community wellness is just so important. I start looking at the numbers of people who are through COVID, through financial problems, through housing problems, which is a huge one that causes an incredible amount of stress. Because there's such a higher percentage of people who are living not only in the poverty level, but also can barely make their monthly payments with really high rents, with food. And it causes an incredible amount of unwellness that leads to drug addiction, it leads to mental, lack of mental health. And it passes on to the family members with family stress. So I'm a big proponent of putting funds and putting energy into the family wellness.
Well, we have an entire department that's composed of one person.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know a lot of the other departments help out.
Mhm.
I know Buildings and Grounds helps out regularly. Chris is helping out
Yeah.
with, with the holiday hoopla,
Mhm.
but, we don't have enough people in that department.
Yeah.
We were talking about it at staff meeting the other day, the Narcan boxes that are around town, that's because of the community wellness.
Yeah, exactly.
And I
Yeah.
just want to add to that, those Narcan boxes are a model for our entire county that is
Yes.
now going to be implementing those boxes, and that was work that Phoenix did. And
Yeah.
I mean, community wellness, it's community wellness, it's our whole community,
It's our
it's
whole
very important. It
Mhm.
encompasses, like you said, everything. It encompasses diversity and just all the things that make us well and better. And I think it's very important that that's a department that we foster and support and give whatever resources we can to.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit better than
Mhm.
some of the other surrounding towns. Because in theory, one idea is because of those Narcan boxes, which is why the county is gonna be adopting it and trying to spread it out. But I give a lot of that credit to the community wellness and to Phoenix.
Mhm. Absolutely. Mhm.
And I think now's the time where people need it more than ever.
Right.
Yes.
And I believe the Bruder Hawk made those
Yes,
boxes.
they
Yes.
Which was really lovely of their part.
I wanted to,
Yeah.
I remember we were talking about this position being. Was it a part-time position that's turning into a full-time? Because that was
Yes.
Phoenix's
Mhm.
request.
Yes.
That's what it is. So it's
Yeah.
not a new position.
No, it's not a new position.
We have budgeted for a part-time position in that department for 2 years
And
in community
Right.
wellness. Which I think that there's also some misunderstanding. This is no longer under a federal grant.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
when it was
it's-
under a federal grant, there were constraints upon what we could do. there were limitations, and we don't have those limitations now because it's a town department. But as a town department of one,
Mhm.
what you get out of a department of one is an incredible value for your money.
Yes.
But I gotta tell you, watching Phoenix prepare for holiday hoopla. And we see him every day and how he's stretched.
Yeah,
And that's one event.
That is one event.
Yeah, also work on the toxicity.
Yes.
Right.
and there is such need, I mean, for
Yeah.
example, my
Correct.
daughter's in the high school and they're, last week, I think it was. Almost every day on really cold days, the whole high school had to empty out, fire trucks came because of, I believe, smoking in the bathrooms. So, they were setting off the fire alarms day after day after day.
Yeah.
You know,
The
it's a
numbers are
true,
high.
there's a true need
True
for,
numbers.
you know.
But that is another thing, you bring up the high school, so Phoenix and Jim got the cafe program back
Yes.
into the high school
Yeah.
with the new administration there. And that's another area of growth.
They could use another person helping out with that,
Exactly.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so Phoenix is there too. And that's a lot.
It's a lot, it's a lot for one
That
person.
could
It's a
easily
lot,
be
yeah.
It's necessary.
Someone's job.
Absolutely.
So it'd be great, I loved, you know,
Yeah.
maybe there could even be some kind of community meeting where we talk about how this, you know. How this could be structured, what the needs are, just get some input from the community.
Well,
Yeah.
he's done surveys, right?
Yeah.
There's been lots of surveys where they're asking people what their wants are, what their
Yeah.
needs are.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this is,
We know,
yes, I mean,
well,
this is,
I'm not saying that,
Mhm.
it's already, I'm in favor of. the
no, I'm
position.
just saying that I
Yeah.
think,
Mhm.
sometimes when you don't need something like this as much, you don't realize how much is getting done.
Or how many people need it
Yeah,
Yeah,
locally.
Yeah.
That you don't see.
mhm.
and some people might not even understand all the things that Phoenix is doing. They don't necessarily
Right.
know what it encompasses.
I didn't. I
What all
mean,
that job
yeah,
encompasses.
Exactly,
Yeah.
until I started getting involved with him, I had no idea.
Right.
Right.
It was incredible, and just the level of energy to get these things done and
Yeah.
the importance of it. Yeah.
And there is a job description for the community relations specialist.
Mhm.
It's an Ulster County job description.
So it is a civil
Yeah.
service position.
Yes, it is a civil service, but so is Phoenix's community education.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There is a job description for that too.
Mhm.
Is there currently someone in that part-time position?
No,
No.
Okay. It's been advertised and no one's filled it?
yes,
Yeah,
Mhm.
job notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and one of the issues is, it's hard to find part-time people.
Well,
Yes.
and this is
Right,
now a full-time
and I
job.
think that the same sort of thing was for the recreation
Yeah.
right,
director.
Of course.
You know, I've talked to people, I think. The proposal is to put it in as a full-time position because that gives us the option to hire a full-time person or a part-time person, depending on what we're able to find.
Mhm.
But I think if we tie our hands with a part-time person. If we replace Chuck with a part-time person, we may not be able to replace them.
Mhm.
And I also think that with a full-time person, we will be able, and this is also a civil service position,
yes,
Mhm.
right? So we're not just hiring, someone off the street, we're hiring someone who has the training and will bring a lot to the program.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that's kind of that's in here as well as, the sheet that I sent around today.
and so there is a list for the recreation, and there is a list for the community relations specialist
Mhm.
at the county, so all I have to do is call and get those people.
Yeah,
Good.
good. Could I ask, the spreadsheet does seem to indicate the recreation is that the says
The
recreation
yeah,
admin, so
Right.
that's not Chuck's position,
that is Chuck's position.
and it says full-time to part-time.
That is for that, so that 25,000 reduction would be to make it part-time. But if you go down to the bottom where I tell you that, with part-time recreation, with full-time recreation, so it all depends on how you vote.
I just wanted to be,
I added it back in, so you would know.
okay,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's something to think about, and the difference there is seems to be $25,000 between part-time and full-time.
Yes,
And it sounds like you're in favor of full-time Neil at this point.
I kind of thought about it a lot this week
Mhm.
and I'm concerned, we have 2 part-time people in that department already, and then we'll have no full-time people in the rec department. Which is, with a full-time person, we did this with the building department
That's right.
before.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
and
Yeah.
there was no one really in charge,
Yeah.
and
Just
it's
cause more
difficult
problems.
Yeah.
to have no one in charge of a department.
It's very mean in a way to have a full-time job.
Yeah.
Where you just not
Yeah,
sort of take, that person can have a.
Benefits.
Think about, benefits,
Yeah.
but also think about advancements and,
right,
or at least,
yeah.
maybe
What's
a
more-
lateral move,
More-
but
Exactly, but maybe more of a commitment too, is saying this is
Mhm.
something I can do.
More of a
long-term,
professional.
Which is, exactly,
Yes, especially because
Yeah.
it's a civil service position.
right,
commitment, yeah.
And
for
what we're
sure.
trying to do is build the program.
Right,
Yes, and have continuity.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too,
I've always thought building a good idea for recreation.
Yeah.
And especially, maybe someone could find a grant to make a rec. Adele Ruger and I have talked about this,
To have
how
a
much
rec.
we want a indoor rec
that would,
center
that would be very.
with just about anything,
That would be
because
very
right now we have nothing, so ice skating,
Yeah.
bowling,
Mhm.
basketball,
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
that would be awesome.
swimming pool.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, there was
Yeah.
bowling and
Yeah.
skating rink.
It doesn't,
was
right,
Yeah.
it's not, it
Yeah.
doesn't, you don't need everything. Some
Something.
cities
some-
can have everything,
Yes.
they
But
do have
even
everything,
some start off with something,
but grants,
Yeah.
We've got the people to build it,
yeah,
if you build it, here they will come.
I hear them coming, we have we have
Yeah.
access to grants now, so,
And that ties right into
Yeah.
the community wellness.
absolutely.
Yeah, there'll
Yeah.
be collaboration between them,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
so. Then the last personnel position is for the buildings and grounds person.
Mhm.
I know we asked Chris to kind of explain it. Think that there's upsides and downsides. We are down what we used to be
Mhm.
years ago. I do think that we were overwhelmed in the summer, but the buildings and grounds, they help out with, like, they're helping out with the holiday hoopla and things like that. So there are things that they do in the other parts of the year.
Yeah.
So I think if I tend to take Chris at his, if he's requesting it, and we've made cuts in other areas in the different departments
Mhm.
to balance that out to as much as we can.
So if there's room for that position. Yeah.
Well, it's not net zero, but,
Right.
we're down to 2 people.
Mhm.
Part of it is they're also doing a lot of the work for sewer 6. Right,
Mhm.
and so they are
Mhm.
doing a lot of work in the winter time on water and sewer and things like that. Is that right, Chris? So,
Yeah.
It's more summertime, we keep up with the maintenance we have, but it's a bare minimum. And I took the conversation that Julie was having about, we want to create more money for the parks.
Mhm.
So create more money, have to bring more people in. We have to do a better job of our maintenance. Right now, it's a bare minimum. We get the mowing done. By the time we're done mowing one place, we're
Yes,
back
sir.
at sleeps, no weed whacking, no
Yeah.
grooming, no. And if you're gonna wanna get people into the place, it has to be more appealing, look, Saugerties Park, you walk in like, wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah,
You have to weed whack so it looks nice,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of work. I didn't believe it was much, so I went and tried doing it one day, and I couldn't believe how long it took me to go weed whack around the fence.
oh, and the amount of rain we had this summer, forget it.
And this would
And
help
we have
the-
to start picking up on maintenance.
yeah, so
Yeah.
like
You know,
the fence
fencing.
Mhm.
would be a good, like at the Memorial Pool, like if you're spending all your time working on the things, the grass is always growing, you're mowing the fence, and like maybe even at Field of Dreams. It's like every once in a while, like, oh, that fence post is loose,
Mm.
but I'll get to that later, but then I gotta mow the grass.
Right.
And then you don't get to fix that
Mhm.
loose
Yeah.
bolts.
First, I can keep
And then
going
eventually,
around.
Halfway
Checking all the
through
stuff.
working it, so, I
Right.
mean, literally, I was up to my knees
Yeah.
in waste, shoveling waste in a backhoe,
Yeah.
along with two other guys, you know, it's,
Yeah.
because it had to get done.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's not summer, but we do
Right.
that in the
I know
summer,
about
so-
fixing fences
Could this be,
with horses, but
could
it's
this
all
help
we do.
with the
Expensive.
dog park situation too?
Yes.
Hmm.
So we could have mowing at the dog park
Mhm.
by the town. And
Well-
we had a long discussion about the dog park,
The dog
or we've had discussions
Yeah.
anyways, and
Mhm.
the. I think the one thing we were concerned about is the not having a dumpster there where people could dump their garbage, right? So, as far as. Having, do we have a decision to tell people about whether we're gonna, or is this for another time?
I don't feel comfortable asking an employee to pick up garbage cans full of waste. I'm sorry, I just don't, that's not.
And then bring it where, you know, because we
Yeah.
don't want a dumpster there, we've heard that the dumpster, people throw their garbage.
If I may, I spoke to a few people at the dog park.
Yeah,
I offered to throw in $200 of my own money to rent a 90 gallon container, which is what you see on the sides of the road. To have up there, to have, our waste hauler pick it up, contract for a year. The most you're gonna pay is $400, so they've gotta come up with the other bit for that. And we would build some kind of container out of pallets
Mhm.
that you can only get your hand in. You're not gonna be throwing the furniture and.
Oh,
You don't
that's
need
good.
a huge
Put it-
dumpster,
put
it's
in.
just the, you know, like you see on,
Just like a mail slot.
you see in parks, you see in the city, you can only get, you know, now granted,
Gotta restrict.
no one's gonna follow that
Yeah.
rule all the time. But it should cut down on couches and stuff that's by there.
Mhm.
And we're only looking at probably, I try to get a quote, getting hold of our waste haulers, next to impossible, but, you know. Call, email,
mhm,
it should be around $400 a year,
A
and if they can't fundraise for $400 a year,
yeah,
then we have a bigger problem.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well, was it four
That's
hundred
very
dollars
nice.
for two, or is
Yeah,
it just
it
two
was-
hundred?
Well, it's two more hundred.
Thank you.
yeah.
Oh, they have someone to do the bags
I'm
now.
sure they'll
Someone would-
They sounded very together, like this is something that they really wanted.
And
And there were
as long
several
as they
that-
have
Yeah.
permission to do that, because I can't, I mean, I can enter into I guess it's a legal question. I can enter into a contract like my name's gotta be in someone's name. I can't enter it in the town's name because, you know, that town funds, you would have to sign it.
Right.
As long as no one has a problem, if this happens of me going, all right, Chris
Well,
Marks has a
could we-
dumpster at the Field of Dreams.
Could we have, like, people could donate money to a town account?
That too.
You
Right.
can make a dog park account.
Make a dog park account and
it
people
could
could
be a
donate.
GoFundMe, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you donated money to like a dog park account, and as soon as the amount was met, you know, we could sign a yearly contract. Right, with the county waste.
We've also had donations like baseball association, and I had to buy sand, so that they donated the money for the sand through the town. We bought it at our discount.
Right.
You know, it didn't come out of the taxpayer's pocket, so to speak. But,
Mhm.
there's a lot of ways of doing it.
Yeah.
If that's our only hurdle up there, then that's. But maintenance is a big thing. You know, it's just,
Yeah.
it's, all we do is build, and if we're not increasing it, it's kind of hard to keep up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's extremely hard to keep up.
Well, I wish I knew a little bit more about the numbers that use the dog park. But I think sometimes it is a matter of a maintained part brings more people. You know, and it is a place that people can, if it's a nice place, people can meet and.
it sounds like it's used quite a bit. I mean, I've never used it in a dog park, but. I'm
And
sure.
it brings people to,
Yeah.
you know, that area, there's a little walk you can do,
Mhm.
beautiful area.
Yeah, it is a beautiful. Yeah, my only other question had been, the increase in. Salaries for the swimming pool, and that's because minimum wage went up, which makes
Yeah.
sense.
And there's so many of
There's so
them.
many of them.
that are making
Yes,
minimum
they're making
wage.
Minimum wage, right.
They don't make minimum wage.
The
The pool?
pool
No,
kids,
no. They
No.
make anywhere from $2 to $3.50 more than minimum wage.
okay,
Some of the lifeguards who've been there for years are
right,
making.
exactly. Well,
Well, they do get raises then,
every year.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah, some of the kids have been there for years. I mean, I know quite a few of them. Um,
So I just have one other comment about budget, which I recognize that we do need to vote on this evening, but to Tom's point, I do think it's important that we be transparent and that we give our community the opportunity to opine. So if it means, all right, I know we give public input, but giving it after we've
Mhm.
finalized the budget, I do think would be a good idea, and giving some plain language and posting in all the ways that we can, making it more accessible as we possibly can
mhm.
to everybody and as early as we can, I think is a really great
Yeah.
idea.
No,
Mhm.
I agree with that, but what I will say is the budget has been on the town's website since like the end of September.
Well, we started September 20th.
So like,
The preliminary budget.
well, the first budget, and so it's been up there for almost 2 months now. You know, everything is there, like there's,
Our meetings are.
and anyone who wanted to come in any public meeting could comment on any of that.
Mhm.
Right, so, like, I don't. I get offended when people say we're not being transparent, because nothing is hidden, the whole budget is there. You know, so it may not be, you know, if you don't have a strong understanding of how budgets work, then maybe you don't understand it, but there's a difference between transparent and not understandable.
Mhm.
Yeah, he said that, I didn't hear him saying not transparent, but more, as much as we possibly can.
Right,
So,
finding other
you know,
places to let people know that it's available.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Although I
I
know my
think
neighbor,
generally-
said that he was like, oh, I looked at the budget the other day.
Yeah.
yes. I think
Yeah,
so.
I mean,
Obviously,
every,
it's, you know,
and it's not just
somebody-
Hudson Valley One, every
Yeah.
single newspaper in New York is talking about different towns' budgets.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And county.
every
Yeah.
year,
I read
the
the article.
town
Parents is
put their
article.
budgets
Yeah.
out in, you know, September, October, November, and they vote on it within like, what, 7, 8, 10 days after the election day, right? So I think that
Mhm.
2 days from now is the deadline or something like that, or today, but this is our last meeting.
If you
Yeah.
don't adopt it tonight, you have
On
to
the
have a
20th.
special meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had a question about rescue, when we were talking with, Jeff Salt and Matt Goodnote, they had requested a 2-year budget, 2-year, contract. Did you hear that? And
well, we have not gotten their contract yet.
so far, we haven't discussed that.
We,
So-
this is what we've budgeted, but, you know, if there's a 2-year contract and we sign that contract, that any changes will have to be put in next year's budget. We
Right.
can't,
Yes,
we can't,
and
but yeah, but I think.
that was the
what he
idea,
said.
but so when is that contract? When would we be looking at that contract?
begin
January 1,
January 1, it'll be at the
So-
real.
so they'll probably give it to you next month, so they could have their first check in
Okay.
January.
Mhm.
But Kitty just said they just signed on. with
Yeah,
Lloyd.
so maybe things are changed.
Well,
because we were
Lloyd's gonna
talking-
have to give them money.
Yeah. Now, my question is, if they sign on with different
Mhm.
towns in the area, then does that mean that there's less?
Hopefully
Yes.
not, that's what we'll have to,
Service
we'll have to
for
see
where we
what's
are.
in there, that'll be part of the budget discussion.
Right,
Yeah, it certainly means they have to make themselves available, and
Yeah.
because they'll have to have a
What do you
contract
mean
with them
part of
as
the
well.
budget?
right. Which-
Well, if they're less available,
Mhm,
then
You need a
they,
contract.
yeah, one of the contract, I meant the contract discussion.
mhm.
So, but, you know, they have assured us that if they do sign on with another town, we will not be receiving less service.
Right,
I heard.
But that will be,
Yeah.
that will be in the
It's just
contract.
hard to
right,
picture.
yeah.
Yes.
It's just, I know
I
from
think they're
the,
already doing Lloyd, right? They're already,
to some degree, but once
Yeah,
you've
just-
signed a
just
contract,
gotta-
then you're much more committed to it,
Yeah.
instead of saying, well, this is what we can do within what we're doing, you're
Yes.
committed to actually being
well,
there. And I-
luckily they're close.
Yeah, I just know just from the business aspect, it's very tempting to commit yourself to like different things,
I'm-
you just have to make sure.
because
I'm
that-
nervous
their
about
budget-
basing discussions on a third hand.
Yes, that's a
uh,
good, exactly.
You know, I heard someone said this, why don't we wait and we'll talk to Matt
I agree,
about it?
I completely agree with you.
Okay.
I would much rather do that.
Yeah,
That's just me.
and he
Yeah.
can tell us,
Sounds
yeah,
good.
and he's very good at explaining how it all
Yeah,
works.
But he was, you know, when I met with him and maybe when you met with him,
Mhm.
he did say that that was something they were looking into
He did.
He
as
did.
a way to
Yeah,
round out and supplement their budget. So
Absolutely.
there's no surprises there.
No,
That's right.
because they're already doing so much in those different
Yes.
towns, just to solidify it and make it so that they're actually getting funding. I'm
I'm
all
just glad we've really gotten a good discussion,
Mhm.
you know, collaboration going with them now, and.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I think we're gonna have. It's gonna be good going forward, better going
I
forward.
agree. And we got a lot of clarity on their budget
Yeah.
and how they function too, which we didn't know.
We talked about grants, we
Yeah.
talked about
Mhm.
other. You know, the county might be doing some restructuring.
Yeah, we should circle back and let them know that we do support another year, but that can only be done 1 year at a time, because he had asked, remember, for the 2-year contract.
That's what I'd asked
So.
about. And that's what you just said,
You just
to
said it.
clarify, Neil, you said it can.
Well, no, we don't have to budget. We can't budget for 2
No,
years.
right.
Right,
We can only
right.
budget for 1
1
year.
year.
And can we
And then
promise
we can
something?
Sign the
that-
2-year contract?
But I think I will have to ask Joe Morello if we can sign a 2-year contract, but,
uh-huh.
And can there,
And then just budget
And
for
then
it.
just budget.
budget
for
next year. Yes, like, so
Right.
you could, you know,
but it,
I'm assuming you can sign a 2-year contract, but you can only budget for 1 year of that contract this year.
Right,
Then next
Mhm.
year, because you've signed the contract, you have to budget for it.
right,
So you've committed to it.
right. It just helps him know, Matt know,
Yes.
that
right,
we have committed to another year. You know, I think that sort of helps him work on his budget and know that that's
Yes.
gonna be.
But
at
we
least
just
that's
can't
doable.
budget for 2 years
Right.
right now,
Right,
because that's not how it works.
Okay.
And so
um,
Gene, we have talked about the 3 different positions, so the and the ambulance is in here, and so what other do we? Would we,
The 11,940 for
yes,
Becky.
mhm,
there's,
I have $10,000 for CDL for Chris.
so the 11,900 is,
right.
for, it's for,
Utilities.
Yeah,
Utilities.
utilities, that you
Yeah.
hadn't, they hadn't put, I got the.
they didn't put that into their
Right.
budget,
Yeah.
and now it's in the budget.
Mm-hmm, she'll be happy. In fact, that was a
Mhm.
overlook on their part.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And the other. There's $25,000 to replace 2 mowers
Mm,
Yep,
and 17,500.
Yeah.
For a 96-inch mower and rototiller for
Mhm.
7,500 for 17,500. That's using ARPA funds.
mhm.
So it's allowable, and that's to help do more of the maintenance
Mhm.
on the fields. And so we have the, and how do people okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Are there CHIPS funds for next year too? The CHIPS funds for next year, or is that?
There's, we haven't been given the final CHIPS numbers, right?
We
Like,
won't get that till March.
Till March.
March,
Yeah,
okay.
So we really
But,
don't know
You
what,
know,
we plan on 118,000, I'm sorry.
no, there's predictions of like what the governor's gonna propose, what the legislature's gonna
we're still
approve.
waiting to hear. what-
But,
Right.
you know, they increased it by 5 or 10% for a couple of years.
Mhm.
My guess is, and I don't know for sure, that the budget's very tight this year.
Yeah.
So it's probably gonna be the same. I don't expect an increase, maybe a small increase, but I don't expect big increases in chips.
Chips per se, just the regular chips line has been the same for many, many years. We budget for 118,000 a year.
right.
Right,
We got almost
We
little over-
spend,
yeah, well, we got 300,000 this year when they
Yeah.
added, early winter recovery.
Yeah.
right.
Pothole repair, which it's kind of funny to give all these titles because it's basically CHIPS funds.
It's,
but
right. I just know it's a big concern when people ask about the budget of the roads, you know, it's something that it's a big concern.
So I think Hochul, and I gotta thank Governor Hochul.
Yeah.
She increased the amount of money that was going to the chips
Mhm.
more than
I need to be before.
had been done in a long time.
It's literally saved us this year. We wouldn't have been able to do the roads that we did. I
Yeah.
was $40,000 over budget
Mhm.
before we got our CHIPS funds.
Well, I think the state's got money for infrastructure as well, because there's
Yeah.
been just
So that was-
nationally, there's been investment in infrastructure that's finally trickling down
Yep.
to the state, which is trickling down to the towns.
Yes,
Yeah.
so, but I don't know if that's gonna continue or even stay the same.
Mhm,
So we're assuming that it may not be 300,000 again,
right,
but
Anything over 118, we're doing,
happy to get.
we're happy, yeah.
Yeah.
We count on 118, which
Mhm.
is, low. I
Mhm,
mean, it'll definitely decrease the work we do for 24.
right,
Okay.
okay. I just wanted to ask, because that's a question I get asked a lot.
He
What
spends
about-
every dime he gets.
I know. I'm sure. I'm sure.
You do.
No, I did.
and so, did we miss, we have the three positions, the justice increase
Mhm.
and the mower increases. Do we need anything I missed, Gene?
We're adding the building body, buildings and grounds.
Buildings and grounds, yes.
Okay.
Can we describe that position? Did we,
Yeah. we got
That's the
city-
person who's gonna help with the maintenance that we talked about,
Right.
Mhm,
so right now,
is it part-time,
full-time buildings and grounds person.
mhm.
the full-time? is
Full-time
not seasonal?
buildings,
No,
and
so the
grounds,
summer
full-time
is-
rec,
The summer
and
stuff was on
CDL.
winter is catching up with everything that didn't get done
Mhm.
during the summer. Mhm.
And the salary of that is,
Union contract, like
It's
22 an hour, 50, something like that. But it's the union contract,
It'd be $1 less for,
6 months.
6 months and then 50 cents less. And we could save a little bit. I'm not planning on hiring someone right out of the gate in the winter. Hopefully, when we get a little closer to
Well,
summertime, then we'll bring them in, so that'll save a little bit.
Okay,
At least that's the plan.
That would be good, because last summer Chris couldn't get seasonal help
should we adjust
in
that,
buildings and grounds.
that budget line? Based on that? If it's not gonna be hired in January?
Couldn't tell you when, I couldn't give you a hard date.
Yeah.
You might have maybe a little bit left over in the personal services line at the end of the year that could go for maybe funding the next year, something like that.
I mean, in theory, we could, but we're talking
Not much.
a few $1,000s, and then it ties our hands, which worries me.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
So, but if we knew it was gonna be like July, then you could say yes,
Mhm.
but we don't know, depends when you put the ad out and when they hire someone, the right person might come along in March or
Mhm.
something. And they start mowing and,
Yeah, preferably I'd rather not, January 1st, but, like you said, if someone comes along, I'm not gonna
Mhm.
kick him out the door first guy or her out the door.
and there's one other, there's the CDL training,
Mhm.
right? Is that the last thing on the list that we have to
That's the
get?
last thing on the list.
So, this was a change, I think, in New York state law. So now it used to be, correct me if I'm wrong, but now they have to have a lot more, commercial driver license training, and it's a lot more expensive to get that training. It used to be that you could hire someone, right? Now they have to pass a test or,
No, we hire people with a CDL. Our problem is, there's only 2 people with a Class A license that can move the truck and the trailer. I'm one of them. The other one is, one of the mechanics. So, I'm not available, they're not available for some reason.
Mhm.
The other guys can't legally get in the truck and drive it.
Mhm.
So I'd like to increase, get a few more people with an A license. And that anymore used to be, you just get a truck, a trailer, make an appointment. Now you have to have a pre-test, which
Yeah,
is a
exactly.
ton of money.
Mhm.
You can't just show up with a town truck like we used to. You take a commercial driving truck.
Mhm.
They have certain classifications for if you're trained on an automatic, you can only drive an automatic truck for the rest of your life. We figured a little over $3,000 per person. The many hour, for how many hours they have to take driver training. It's 3 positions, 3 people will be trained 15 hours and then go take their test. Usually through these commercial driving classes, I don't think you guarantee the license, but If you have any competency, you use it. That's the problem.
Do you think you need 3 more people or could like 2 more people? Like, do you think?
I'm just hedging my bets on 3.
Mhm,
Yeah, I could do it 2, I could do it with 1. I just,
Mm-hmm.
people leave.
mhm.
I think there also I would like some kind of stipulation that if, and take it the way I'm saying, if I'm gonna pay for your license, then you're gonna stay for a year or 2
Yeah,
years.
it's kind of like they do with the
Back for your
police
license.
department. That if
Or you
I'm
pay-
gonna
or you-
pay-
or you pay us
Yes,
back.
it's a
Yeah, I think
commitment.
that's fair.
Or you pay it back.
Yeah,
I like that, yeah.
um,
Cause I was thinking, you know, you.
there's gotta
give-
be a little skin in the game, otherwise
Exactly, you
it's,
pay for that for somebody and then 6 months later, they're like, oh, I just got offered a job doing exactly
which
this,
happens
making a lot more
quite a
money,
bit.
which I'm sure,
in
so,
the
makes-
big trucking industry.
yeah. So it would be good to put that stipulation in there, yeah. Another question, do towns have like housing assistance budgets at all? No towns ever do, like, I feel like there's just a lot more people now that I've been hearing that have a really hard time just living, you know, having a place to live. And I just wonder if towns have any grants or budgets for housing assistance, so let's say somebody needs a little something, you know, to tide them over so that they can keep their home. And they could apply for assistance. Saying, well,
Not that I know of. I don't know if there's
Mm-hmm.
like, if that's a county thing or,
mhm,
but I don't know of any towns that have.
that have
stuff
that,
like
stuff like that. Just curious,
But, you
trying
know,
to figure out how to help people who are, you know, having housing insecurity. Cause it's such a problem that,
Phoenix,
yeah.
send it
exactly.
to Phoenix.
Phoenix,
Phoenix
Yeah,
can
yeah.
help.
Talk to Phoenix about it, yeah. Maybe we can work on something,
Phoenix will help on an individualized one.
right?
all right, is that all of them, Jean?
Yes,
So. Do you
and all
want
my
me to go?
decreases.
Hmm?
And all my decreases.
Hmm.
And also, so yes, and also, so we're also voting on these decreases that you've put forward as well.
Except for the rec director going down to part-time.
Mhm.
Okay. And so like
But
there's like,
the PD vehicle payments,
yes, so
the
we,
plow
we,
truck payment,
we already paid the PD vehicle payment.
we're
so we're-
gonna, no, next year. The police department needs to have a vehicle. They need to buy a car.
Yes.
Chris needs to buy a plow truck. I put them neck and neck, the lease. And if we were to do a ban,
Mhm.
we save $30,000 in interest if we borrow.
If we borrow the
I
money.
think that's it.
Uh-huh.
So I was a step ahead of myself and I put that money in the budget. That's why we can take it out. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Mm.
Mhm.
So. Everyone has this spreadsheet.
Mhm.
Is everyone okay with voting on these? Proposed increases and decreases that we have here? And if there's anyone wants to talk about anything that we missed, but I think we covered them all.
Mhm.
Is everyone okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Make a motion,
Clear from what we, our discussion was.
Yeah, I think that we've gone through everything and I feel okay with it.
a motion to approve
We say that the increase,
the final increase, I think is
9.59.
9.59. Right here.
Okay,
All in favor?
I
Or
second,
second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Motion to close the hearing and adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And there's.
All right.
All right.